Oh, that was close. You got, you got that one out of your system at the buzzer. Holly, how's it going? Long
Good
time. How you been?
good morning, Mitch. It's beautiful. It's been a beautiful spring, early summer. And now it's getting very hot.
Is it getting hot down here? Well, I was gonna say, is it getting hot down here? It's about 100 today in
Yeah,
Austin,
we're gonna get
Texas.
there. We're gonna get there. It's a bummer when you spend a large amount of money on an air conditioner on a central air, and then when you call because it won't, you can't get your temperature down below 79, and they're like, well, it only will cool 15 degrees over what the outside temperature is. And I'm like, well, how many tons of a unit do I need? Do I need like a 5 ton unit to chill a
Back it up.
2,000
Back it
square
up.
foot house?
But
So
I get that, and I sympathize with you, but I don't want because we're both from we grew up in North Central Illinois, and I don't know about you, but in Texas and probably in Florida where you are today, if somebody says yeah, it's warm out, but it's awfully really humid, we're like, you don't know humid, boys.
oh God, that's yeah, that's I'm telling you, the humidity in Illinois, oh,
But
nasty.
this is not a complain about weather episode, so everybody
No,
knows we're in midsummer. See, this gets kind of excited when we're talking about the episode. It's the All-Star break in baseball, and
and
every
some
year
are
around the
scooting.
All-Star, I find myself paying a little more attention to baseball. But this year though, and this is why I've called upon you because I have more questions than answers, and I want you to help me understand what's going on in baseball. And just so everybody knows, you're not you. There you go. That's a keeper. We- we're gonna we're gonna have a hard time with that, aren't we? But we're bringing you on because you watch, I would say, more than the ordinary person's amount of baseball per year.
Probably,
About,
probably.
the baseball season is what, 171 games?
162 plus 14, potentially, if you go all the way.
Okay, okay. But you probably like you've stated before, you watch as many as 500 games a year, right?
Yeah, probably at least that, yeah. Because I also
Good.
flip. So I also watch partial games and I also like quad screen it and shit.
Well, that's kind of rad. But I wanted to bring you on because not only you are a good friend of mine, but also because you're my, and I've still told you before, you're my Buster only. So Buster, so everybody's aware,
You
is
could have picked a
ES.
better looking person to
Well, not
compare me to, but thank
hey,
you.
don't don't think Buster be happy about it either.
I know
But just
Buster's probably going, "Man, there's something you could do about that."
but he's the ESPN sports analyst who's on baseball tonight.
Correct.
Every the pod, and I've been watching a few, and there's been some good statements, but relating to some of the questions I have, like, well, first of all, I mean, because the All-Star break is a good checkpoint, right?
It is. All-Star break is a crazy time of year. It's kind of like Christmas in July or fire sale in July. It's a happy time for some. It's a very sad time for some because some teams are going, you know what? It's time for us. If not now, when? And they start
Right,
making moves. And
right.
some teams are like, we got to start dumping the salary, which
Yeah,
is sad
yeah.
because, you still have fans. So it's like
But and some
can
teams,
you imagine back in the day if the Dodgers would have traded Hershiser because they had just a bad season and they said, "Well, we got to get
oh
rid of
yeah.
Hershiser." Well,
Well,
that's
yeah.
just crazy, and they're doing it with Skubal now.
And Scooble's on the Brewers. I
He's
don't
on the
even know.
Tigers. He's on the Tigers for this
Well, he's
year.
been talking.
It's his walk year.
But we'll talk about, some of the, all these specific, not all of them, but some of these, because I have some specific questions, because there are some big storylines and coming into the second half.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before, like why baseball still gets our attention every summer. It's hard to understand. But one question I do is as far as hard, I mean, because, and like I've told you before we get on, we're both fans of specific teams, but today we're just baseball fans.
Yes.
So I have, I think it's a good place to start with an obvious question, the Shohei Ohtani question. Are we watching the greatest baseball player who's ever lived, but we're just too close to history to appreciate it?
I think it's very possible we are. I think that it's still too early to tell based on right because we don't know honestly. It's so hard to compare the two because he's the only
What
person
to?
you well you can only compare him to Babe Ruth because
Okay.
Babe Ruth was a very effective pitcher, probably better than
Oh, that's right. I
Ohtani.
forgot. I forgot he
Yeah,
pitched too.
Yeah, I think he's had a better record than Otani's ever put up for a couple of years, and then
Well,
they just said, "Babe, we just want you to hit," because
and
home runs were not in fashion back when Babe played, and he made the home
that's
run a
amazing.
thing.
That's amazing. Well, because
Yeah.
and also because you're seeing, I heard recently conversations because I saw this episode coming that Otani's seeing some kinds of signs of wear, and I've heard his coach say you can see that we've discussed that this is not going to be his forever approach to the game.
Well, he's in baseball terms, he's not a super young man anymore. I
No,
mean, he
well, he just
just
turned
reached a
31.
major milestone, 300 home runs.
Yeah,
That doesn't
that is
happen
major.
overnight.
No, and it's
Uh,
one of the quickest to ever do it.
yeah. So, I mean, that's still, he's done it fairly young, but the problem with baseball where our heroes come and go so quickly, and I'll give you an example of this, just to name a name. Jake Arrieta maybe was one of the best, if not the best pitchers in baseball history for 18 to 24 months, and then he was gone.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Tim Lincecum was one of the greatest
Timmy
pitchers in,
Lincecum,
yeah,
what a
one of
riot
the,
with the hair, and
yeah,
and
one of the greatest pitchers in baseball history for a couple years. Then he's gone.
but you're
So
right. I like the comparison to Babe Ruth though.
I think it's the only person you can compare him to. It's a
Well,
dual
because
player that excelled at both.
I saw Buster actually gave a stat last night, and they said let's just do a side by side comparison as far as hitting for the MVP as far as this goes, and he compared Otani to Juan Soto, and they're both like almost identical. Like, yeah, but he's like now just imagine like Soto is a starting, one of the top starting pitchers as
Mhm.
well. So there he goes. He's gone. There's no discussion.
I think that Shohei's lost a little bit off of his
Yeah,
lost a little bit off of his
that's a
offense.
keeper.
Um, because he's really concentrated on wanting to, I don't know, they were saying he's concentrating on wanting to get a Cy Young award, which I
Yeah,
don't know what the
yeah.
big deal is. He could get both. It's happened before. I don't know that it should have ever happened before, but it's happened before. I don't know if it's going to ever happen again. It's happened a couple times. Oh, I could be wrong, but I believe Justin Verlander maybe did it. I know
What,
Willie Hernandez did it.
a Cy Young and a hitting?
A Cy Young and an MVP because they're
Okay.
the pitcher was the most valuable player in the league, which a lot of people argue that should never happen. That's why you have the Cy Young,
Well, I
and a
just want
pitcher
make
doesn't
sure
play
that
every day.
I was being clear. It was the hitting race versus the pitching, and then put it together. And now you come up
Yeah.
with, like you mentioned, Cy Young is an independent. But
Hmm.
also, let me ask you this though, because all these goals that he's had for himself, and he lays out specific goals.
His
Do
whole
you think
life, his whole life was
it's
laid
more
out.
impressive because of the now he's dealing with the pressure and the expectations that he's helping create?
I think it's impressive what he's doing now simply because of the way our game is played. Our game is played. I'm going to use a space exploration term, max Q. It's when you light a candle and it's going off into space and you're getting ready to break the atmosphere and you have the maximum pressure on the top of that spaceship that you're ever
Ooh,
going to have before you go through. It's called max Q. That's how we play the game today. We play pitchers don't pitch the whole game. They don't pitch 120 pitches. They pitch 70, 80 pitches at max Q. But the difference between then and now is max Q doesn't work well on a body because our joints aren't meant to take max Q every time we go out. And so I believe that some of the old records may never fall simply because of the fact that people aren't going to be able to make it that long. And I also believe that money is going to be part of it, where they're like, you know what, it's such a toll on my body to maintain this physique to be able to play at this level. And I already see it in Shohei's face. You can see it. He's aged in his face.
yeah,
He's not as
you can
happy as
tell.
what he used to be.
Well, he's got two kids now too, so
Well, that'll
I'm not
suck the life
saying.
right out of you.
Well, let's talk. I mean, because you gave me the segue, so let's use it. What's happened to pitching? Because help me understand. Like when I was growing up, when you were growing up, the ace coming into the game, you and he were expected to finish the game. So today, 6 innings feels like a masterpiece. They did it last. They did it. I watched the highlights of a game today, and as the pitcher was leaving the mound in the 6th inning, he's like, "Well, that's a great game for Jim. It's his 6th inning."
Yeah, you know what? I think once again, I think it's the fact that you get they want their pitchers to pitch at maximum effort on every pitch, and they're like, how many pitches can we get out of you at maximum effort? Even a curveball. I mean, you're seeing pitchers throw sliders and curveballs in the high 80s, low 90s. That's not right. Uh, Greg Menix, over 300 wins, and he would throw curveballs into the low 70s. If
He
you
threw a
hit
lot of
Maddox, he would
strikes
just
too,
throw it
though.
slower. He would throw it slow, slower, and slowest, and he'd go hit it out. Hit it as hard as you want. You know,
Well,
it's
do you think it also?
so.
I mean, because they're requiring a lot more velocity. I get that, but it does now does it also come back to because they knew like coaches know which of the relievers can go long, which of the relievers going to throw heat for the close. Do you think
Mhm.
it's led to a bullpen specialization now?
I think it's I think simply injuries might have led to the bullpen progression. A lot of your players now that go out for Tommy John have to come back, and they don't even come back as starters right off the bat. I'll give you another example. Justin Steele. They said if he comes back, he's not going to be a starter when he comes back because it's taken too long. And I
Now,
think
real
that
quick, because you and I kind of know, but
okay.
maybe all the listeners don't know. You mentioned Tommy John. What's that?
Well, Tommy John was a pitcher for the Dodgers who broke his he tore a ligament in his elbow, and it's the name is in my head, but I can't throw it out. And a doctor put that back together, and he's the first player to ever pitch again after that happened. Usually, when you blew that tendon out of your arm, you were
Yeah,
done. And now, even today, players are having it two and three times, and they've changed the way they perform the surgery where
right.
they now insert a piece of Kevlar as well into your
And it's a
arm.
micro, surgical tool as opposed to the one they used back in the original days. So they come back even faster now.
Oh yes, I mean some of them they can do full Tommy Johns, some of them they can do partial Tommy Johns. Now the person I'm speaking about with the Justin Steele, that particular picture though, I mean if you did get a Tommy John, you're still looking at 16, 18 months. You're still looking at almost 2 years of not playing baseball.
Yeah.
And I think I just don't understand. I'm not really sure I understand the team's mindsets on this because you're paying that guy. You're paying that dude the
Well,
whole time,
you
you
bring up a
know.
great point, but also but by keep limiting how much they go out there, you're protecting their long-term investment. Is that fair?
I believe is it? I believe what you're saying is true in their head, but like it's like a piece of steel. A piece of steel is a piece of steel. You can beat on a piece of steel forever. Then one day you hit it and it just breaks in half. It's like
Yeah, that
it
worries
get
me.
what it's like. So I'm not real sure about that. I just go back to look at the days of the pitchers that pitched and pitched forever, and may he rest in peace. But look at Wilbur Wood, pitched forever. Pitched forever. I just watched some old games where a guy was trying to pitch, and he pitched a no-hitter against the Cubs through 192 pitches. 192 pitches in a game
Well, think
and
about it, because
threw an,
you
and
just
threw a
said
no-hitter against the Cubs.
they're pulling people out at 90. That guy threw 190.
It's so
But
different. It's
I
so
also
different now.
and
Go look at an old YouTube game.
don't take away one of my questions because I got another one coming up specifically about that. But but are they like in today's again? Well, you bring it up today versus like let's say previous, let's just say the mid 80s, the 70s. Is today's game producing better pitchers?
Um,
They've got that velocity. They got young kids coming up knowing they need to be this person. So does it produce a better pitcher?
I believe that it produces a shorter version of the pitcher. So yeah, I think you're seeing the best that he can do, but I
Yeah.
also think that you're seeing it for a shorter period of time. There's not going to be any more Verlanders. There's not going to be any more Scherzers. There's not going to be any more Roger Clemens. I just
I
don't see
think
it. There'll never be another Fergie Jenkins. There'll never be another pitch six seasons of 20 wins and 297 career complete games. I mean,
that was so great to see pitchers like coming up on like 19-6 or 19-8. You're like, come on, man, get 20.
so why are these people that look like Ken dolls and He-Man dolls and that are coming playing sports now and they're they all have dietitians and they all, it's
Yeah.
everything. It's baseball. It's not just show up and play, put on your spikes and play like Legion ball. The baseball is an entire sport. Why are we seeing people not lasting like they used to? I'm assuming it's money and money and max Q, but they're not lasting like they used to. And we're not even seeing the numbers being put up like they used to. And the
Well,
game's changed. The game has
since
changed.
you haven't touched on the one pitcher I'm going to talk about, but before we get to that, I want to give you like carte blanche because I don't want to steal all your thunder because you know a lot about baseball and you watch a lot of baseball. So you tell me, Mr. Baseball expert, Mr. Holly Olney. Oh, that's a good
Ooh,
name, Holly
ooh,
Olney.
Paleoli.
But that could be a stripper, right? But but oh God, you're
I
picturing
miss
Buster
my
stripping.
mom.
Don't do it. So tell me, what is like myself because I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but what's the average fan probably the same way. So what's the average fan missing this year? Give me some storylines like maybe okay for you, who's the biggest surprise player this year?
I think possibly the biggest surprise player this year might be Drake Baldwin. Just
Who?
rookies that are coming out and just doing things that rookies shouldn't be able to do. The jump from AAA to the bigs is such a huge jump. Only, I mean, I don't know this, and this is Mitch Wonder's 80% accurate quote. I don't, uh, I don't think that 1%, more than 1 or 2% of prospects ever last in the bigs more than 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean it's amazing
That's
because it's imagine like going from college football to the NFL. It's
it's
just such a what do you want to call it? God, it's like being hit with a flamethrower. And if you can adapt, God bless you. Or if you got a team that has a situation, let's say like they're loaded for bear and they can allow some mistakes, like uh, they allow you to grow. Like we're
mhm.
seeing, I think a good example is like you brought it up to start the early in the season. You said what's wrong with Roki Sasaki on the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he hasn't yet turned it around, but their team is still doing pretty good, so they can allow Roki to grow a little bit.
He had a rough night again last night.
Did he?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the entire game, but he's a very emotional person. I think that that's going to be Roki's downfall is that he gets really emotional when he gives up a dinger, and it's like you look at other. I don't know. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. I sure don't see it in uh um what you call it that the Cubs have. Who is their pitcher that they have? Shota. And he doesn't he that's all he gives is home runs. It's like yeah, I give up home runs, but he goes, my goal is to do it with only one person on. So um, yeah,
Well,
it's
do you above and beyond injuries then? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but above and beyond injuries, do you see a biggest disappointment on the year then?
I think the biggest disappointment on the year is that we can't play the game without talking about the CBA and going into next year and the fact that are we going to have baseball or not next year? That's the biggest thing that bothers me that we can't go through an entire game like that.
Well, that's a
And
storyline. I was going for players, but storylines,
and
yeah, because you're taking one of your bullet points,
well,
but
my
that's
biggest storylines for players are all the players that got the big contracts that are tanking, and they're worried about a salary cap. If owners only paid attention to what they did, and to see their failures, you wouldn't have to worry about a salary cap because it would work its way out. I mean, I don't think that you would see. I don't think you're going to see a lot of players. Okay, so I don't think you're going to. First of all, if you take away deferment money, how many players are going to get contracts like that just happened with what's his face that used to be with the Cubs that went to the Dodgers? Uh,
Tucker.
Tucker, yeah. Who's going to go 4 years, 240 million for a player? For him. I mean, he's not a great player. He's a
Well,
above
he
average player. He's not a
he
great
was when he was
player.
on he was when he was on the Cubs.
That's why they got rid of him. He was not a great player.
Okay, hang on.
His type of greatness, I mean, the numbers, it's weird. We numbers are changing in baseball. And people are looking at the wrong numbers thinking that people are good. But the numbers that show that people are good in baseball, some people go right underneath the radar. For an example, people give shade to Ian Happ all the time, and yet he has a lifetime OPS of almost 800, and OPS is on base
Thank
plus
you.
slugging. So it's your slugging percentage plus how many times you're on base. And it's eight, his is 800, and the league average is like 712. So based on that, he's almost Hall of Fame figures for something like that.
Yeah, you
We're
know, I'm going to give you some constructive feedback, and it's actually kind of positive. So bring it in close. You ready? You know who you sound like?
Who
Buster
dat?
Olney. You, you sound
Oh,
you, you, you sound like Buster.
I think I gotta talk a little bit more. I gotta be.
Well, yeah, but you can see because I watched Buster on YouTube last night. He's surprised and happy he's doing this, I think. So tell me, because we talk. I mean, there's some obvious answers here, but tell me about a team like you think right now that's overachieving. I have two in mind right now, but you tell me.
On the overachieving department, I I think it's the Cubs right now. How they're 12 games over 500. I'm
I asked you to be a baseball fan, not a team fan.
no. We said what team is over? You said what
Yeah,
team,
and I
right?
agree somewhat,
Yeah,
and one of their
is a
players
shot.
is overachieving too. But what about Tampa Bay?
Well, Tampa Bay. I don't think that's overachieving. That's the way Tampa Bay plays.
Sweet Jesus, dude. I mean, even I saw them because I looked it up today. I'll be honest, I cheated, but they've only got like there's a stat where they got seven more runs per game than other so they're winning by close margins every damn game.
See that, and that's one of these stats where, okay, there are some stats in baseball that I think are very, very telling that people do not want to admit to. They don't want to take it because they like runs, hits, errors, they like average, they like
Yeah,
homers, they like RBIs.
me too. That's what I
Uh,
like.
but I think that expected win and the runs
Oh
over.
gosh,
I mean,
Brian.
unless you're okay, let's put a team out there. Let's just say the Dodgers because it's the obvious one, the one that you look up and there's so many runs ahead
I
of
think they're
what
like
they.
180.
Well, I mean, that does that stat mean something? Yeah, I mean they run up a lot of big games. But remember, now we have a 10-run rule now. So as soon as you have 10 runs on the board, you can throw a position player in and all teams
Oh,
did.
really? Is that
And
what that is?
The Cubs just violated the San Diego Padres by they hit 23 runs, had 23 runs on them. They put a position player in and they hit a grand slam, a couple other home runs, and it's like they still count. But
But
it's like, yeah.
well, and we've got a section on stats too, but also since you're bringing up the Cubs, but what about the game after that? Because the Cubs set a record.
Well, it's I think it's funny. Isn't that funny how one game you can score 23 runs, the next game it's nothing, and you get 17 scored on you? That's
Yeah, see
baseball.
that's well, the Cubs have a record now. I saw it when I was traveling in Scotland with my son. Is that they brought it up that Cubs set a record for losing by the greatest margin after winning by the greatest.
I don't even know how many times in my life I've ever seen a team win 10 games in a row twice in a season and turn around and lose 10 games in a row before the All-Star break.
Oh, oh, and they've done it more than once.
They've the
How,
Cubs they've done it. They've won 10 games in a row twice and they've lost 10 games in a row once. And it's
and
before
knowing
the
what we
All-Star
know
break.
about the history of the game, you wouldn't expect it from any other team. So tell
Baseball
me,
is the most fascinating sport in the world. That's why we all watch it, and that's why it always will be. And the only thing, and we talk about a lot of things. I hope that it evolves through what's going on now with the CBA and stuff. I hope it evolves to be what what the Field of Dreams baseball is really supposed to be. Baseball should be like it is with minor leagues. You should have teams in every city that could support a team and spread those players around. You wouldn't have to worry about a salary cap because there'd be so many teams. There's only so many great players. And give
yeah.
each community, each you look at these communities that have minor league teams, it's a part of the fabric of their community. It's not just a team. It's
Oh, definitely. I mean,
you know,
it's those
baseball is
like
life, bro. It is. It's just
like you
like
see
in
the
Spain, soccer is life. In other countries, soccer is life.
boy, oh
Baseball
boy,
is life in the
FIFA.
United States.
We should do an episode and give FIFA some props. But let me ask you one last quick question in these, and then we'll move on to my pitching
Sure.
question because you've got some answering to do.
Oh
But
no. Oh,
is in the
blasting
national
and
is in the National League MVP race, is it really only for second place rather? Shohei's a runaway with it. We know that.
I don't know for a fact that Shohei's runaway at all on it.
Come
I
on.
think it's a possible I think it's very possible that he's going to win a third one,
It'll be
But
unanimous again. It'd be a fourth one, by the
well, you
way.
know what? It's probably, you know what? I take that back. I'm thinking two things. It's probably going to be a lot easier for Shohei to win another MVP this year than it because Judge is out. It's going to be now. It's who's going to win it in the American League because Judge is hurt. He may not play again this year, so he's got
Yeah,
a
I've
rib
seen
cage
that.
issue.
But
So,
it's all but it's yeah, the way he swings, my God, I'm surprised. Like you say, what's that, Max G, Max Q? But
Yeah, Max Q, yeah, that's
but
it's. Look at
but yeah, I
look at
mean
them.
I
They're
think
breaking bones in their body just by swinging a bat. The hamate bone. They talk about players going to have surgery and having the hamate bones removed from their wrists before they even play because they know they swing so hard they're going to break them anyway.
I love it. I love it. That's just like stopping just short of the why don't we allow performance enhancing drugs issue? But don't get us started on that. Don't get us. But I've got a Texas question for you. You ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody my age grew up believing, even if I didn't live in Texas at the time, I believed every time Nolan Ryan would take the mound, he would complete the game, and that he would pitch forever. So would Nolan Ryan survive in today's game?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, he would. I don't know what he would be. I don't know what he would be in today's game. Remember, in his game, he was not a great pitcher. I mean, he was great because he lasted forever and he struck a bazillion people out, but he never won a Cy Young. He
God,
never,
the
never
5,000
did. And
strikeouts. My God,
yeah, well, yeah, but
that's a my God
he didn't
stat.
put a lot of other stuff in there with it. Look what Randy Johnson did with a little bit less strikeouts.
What
He's
do you think
got some
Robin
hardware
Ventura
and
thought of him?
what's that?
What do you think Robin Ventura thought of him?
Well, that's still one of my
Well, that's another story
I,
altogether.
that's still one of my favorite plays ever in
If
baseball.
anybody's interested, look up the YouTube video about just Nolan Ryan versus Robin Ventura. You'll be happy you did. You'll laugh and you'll thank
And,
us for it.
and when you're watching it, understand that Robin Ventura has come out and said when he was halfway out to the mound, he knew he had made a mistake, but it was too late to turn around and run back to the plate.
But for back to Nolan in today's game though, allowing for the modern training and for the
Hmm.
recovery that they're allowed. And do you think because like
But
you're saying, we talked about, there's a myth that I had in my mind, and you're talking about the reality. So myth versus reality is obvious. Like you're saying he wasn't a great pitcher, but he was very good.
he was a great pitcher, but he was okay. He's a great pitcher, but for a different reason. He's a great pitcher because he was a fireballer, and it was real. I mean, Nolan's record, well, he lost almost as many games as he won, and he walked a lot of people, but he was really hard to hit. I mean, but when he was on, he was unhittable. What did he have? Five, seven no hitters, some crazy amount of no
I don't know.
hitters.
I just always focused on the strikeouts and the fact that here comes this big boy from Texas. He's going to play. He's going to pitch and get out the way.
I think he would still be good because of the fact that he had a wicked curveball. But understand, these kids that are coming out of college now can 100-mile-an-hour fastball is absolutely nothing to them.
Well, let's
Absolutely nothing.
let's talk about the specific question though. Would today's game allow another Nolan Ryan? Like because you see like Nolan will go out in the seventh and the eighth, and they've already dropped every other team's dropping their pitchers in this after 6 innings. So would baseball allow it? Would they just get
No, I
all
don't
pissy
see. I
about it?
mean, no. I think that the era of I mean, I just saw uh, Dylan Cease uh, go for no hitter the other day, and he lost it in the first batter of the ninth, and they took him right out. He had 92 pitches. They took him right out,
Yeah,
and I don't. I
didn't
think they were
Yamamoto do
edgy
the
letting
same
him get
thing?
to 90 pitches.
Well, because I've seen, because obviously I'm a Dodgers fan, because and it's not because I'm from California, I'm from Chicago, so I can't figure it out. I can't figure out why I'm a Vikings fan either, so I got that off my chest. But I've seen Vikings pitchers, listen to me, Dodgers pitchers going over 100 pitches often, especially Yamamoto.
Well, I mean, there are a few that can. There are a few out there that really can, and that's when you talk about Nolan Ryan and how would he do today. He may do very well because Nolan Ryan was very resilient. So
That's true. That's
he
true.
might be able to, but you don't see. I think that the way what we have today with the technology and the video technology today, batters
Yeah.
are figuring out what a pitcher's going to throw before they go up to the plate, and they're sitting on something. So, I mean, would Nolan still play? Yeah. How would he play with today's technology? Would it be the same? I don't know. I think that Fergie, I think that Bob Gibson. I think that Steve Carlton, I think those guys that still
Oh
play
God,
the
Steve
same.
Carlton, just
Yeah.
bringing it that
Yeah.
southpaw.
But they weren't fireballers, they were pitchers. The thing about those three
There you
guys is
go.
there's 9 quadrants to a strike zone, and they could each hit any quadrant anytime they
Yeah,
wanted.
or
You
any
know,
better. Like, you know, that's
and there's
where,
not, yeah.
and
Oh,
there's
you don't want to piss off Bob Gibson.
well, there's a
Oh,
beauty of chin music, right? And by chin music, people got to understand. They probably all do, but if a like there was, I think it was Soto. He's coming up and doing that sweep of the bases
yeah.
before, and somebody put the next pitch right under his chin.
See, I'm a guy that I don't like that. I'm like, if you're gonna plunk somebody, hit them in the ass.
Yeah,
If they're being a really major
you could say
combatant,
dick. You could say dick.
then you gotta tune up the ribs, but you don't throw at somebody's head.
No, no, no.
You
But
could just kill
chin, yes.
somebody.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask because you brought up a lot about the like the new technology and stuff, and I heard today someone said I thought a quote that was important that with the new technology it might have made baseball I don't know like more scientific, but it's taken away the magic, which is important. But
Well, it's
have we made baseball smarter? Or is it just harder for fans to understand? Like you and I have talked before. I have little knowledge of or use for a stat like WAR, which is, can you explain WAR to us?
well, I can't explain all of it to you because I'm not
What does the acronym mean
uh,
though?
wins above replacement.
So they're
So it's
saying like
like
if somebody, like
the
if you brought somebody in to replace somebody, they would lose this many wins because
yes,
the
or they
other
would
guy was
gain
that
that
good.
many. Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
So,
And you've talked about OPS,
mhm.
but what's OPS plus?
Well, OPS plus it's on base percentage plus slugging. So OPS, it's OPS plus. I think it's pretty much OPS now. Now they just call it OPS because on base plus slugging.
I
So
do
you're
like,
adding, and you just take the two. You take their on base percentage and you take their. Now that you bring up a great point because that's why we're seeing people talking about like Kyle Schwarber. Probably going to
yeah,
go in the hall. Probably going to go in the Hall of Fame. He's on a
come
Hall of
on,
Fame.
Schwarbs
He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. His
for
OPS is
homers.
no, just his OPS is extremely high. His home runs are extremely high. You don't have to have a high batting average. What he's doing is he's showing you, he's proving the batting average is not an important stat because okay, there's three true outcomes in baseball. You walk, you strike out, you hit a home run. That's the three true outcomes. And what Kyle is doing is he's a master at it. But what he's done is he's gone, I'm going to shrink the amount of walks that I get or shrink the amount of times I strike out. I'm going to increase the amount of times that I walk. So I'm always on base. If I can't hit a home run, maybe somebody else can hit me in, and I'm still going to hit my home runs. And I'm going to hit more home runs because people know I'm not willing to swing at just anything because I take my walks. So what he's showing is like what Adam Dunn couldn't. Adam Dunn was a big home run hitter with several
Yes, he
teams, just
was.
hit all kinds of bombs. Not a good baseball player. You cannot win with Adam Dunn. You cannot
Big
win with
bombs.
Adam Dunn kind players. But give me a Kyle Schwarber any day of the week. God, the Cubs could have only had a player as good as Kyle Schwarber.
And this is funny to you and I because everybody listening doesn't know that the Cubs traded him away.
They
But
no, they didn't even offer him a contract, Tim. They just
uh,
non-tendered him. They said thanks for the memories.
yeah, I remember. But
Yeah.
and I do, and I don't want to talk about, because I love ERA. It's very cut and dry. But now there's an xERA. So I
Well,
think, but
it's
but but you talked about how hitters are learning this data and they're like being fed these stats. So they
in
kind of,
between bats. In
but
between
that,
at bats.
but do you think it interrupts or do you think it? Because right now, do you prefer this or is it data versus instincts making it better?
Well, here's the thing. Instincts are going out the window because it's past data. There's a machine right now. There's a pitching machine that most teams can well, they can all have it, whether they want to buy it or not. But it's a machine that puts a hologram or a visual picture of the pitcher you're going to be facing with his windup, his throw, and everything. And
Really?
it's a pitching machine, and the ball will come out of the area that his hand throws, and they can dial into the pitching machine the exact type of ball that the pitcher throws.
Can
So
can you
before you
imagine?
ever see the guy, you've hit against him.
because you and I played a lot of slow pitch softball in a small town where we grew up. Loved it. But can you imagine if we had that? Like even like say, and Robin, if you're listening, Robin Brewer, he was a good slow pitch pitcher, but he would vary his pitch arc. He would vary his form, and you kind of never knew where it's coming from, Robin. But that would be fun to have a holograph Robin, wouldn't it?
It was really funny was anytime I went up against Frankie Pillai because I knew if I got a ball, if I got the first pitch was a ball, I was going to walk. I just knew that playing softball, I could draw a walk off a pitcher. So if it was going to be ball four, Frankie Pillai would throw it fast right at my head for ball four. I have to duck and get out of the way.
I remember that stuff. Yeah. But well, you had two things going for you. You were left-handed and you were annoying. So
I know. And you know what? Both of them. I love the fact that the visitor, when the visitors played on the right field side, if they got mouthy with me, man, I just turn on one and send it flying, like 12 feet high into their dugout. I'm like, that shuts that up
oh
real quick.
God, I kind of miss that bad. Okay, let's go. This is going to give you a quick around the horn. You ready?
Yeah.
And by the way, around the horn, explain. No, no, we're not going to explain that. If you don't know, look it up. Okay, around the horn. I got three questions for you. Today, American League or National League, who's the team nobody wants to face?
I'm going to have to say it's the National League, and nobody wants to face the Dodgers. I would have to say
They are
that
loaded,
that's
right?
in regular play. That's in regular play. Now, I
Okay,
don't know
yeah,
how it's going to play out in the playoffs because you know
but
what?
but
You don't know what's going to happen after in 2 weeks. You don't know what the teams are going to look like
and
in
that's
2 weeks.
great. That's great because because you're talking about because we got the trade deadline coming up.
Correct.
And there are additions and subtractions that are going to be made. But also, I heard today or the other day somebody talking about they were doing the National League race because again I was cheating, I was doing homework, but they said hate to watch them or love to watch them, you're going to watch the Dodgers because it's just an incredible conglomeration
I
of
love the
teams.
Dodgers. Look, the people that sit there and hate the Dodgers are not baseball fans. First of all,
True,
I
I'll
don't
grant you.
I don't give a shit what you say. You got to love the Dodgers. It's a fantastic conglomeration of talent
Exactly.
that's
I
just
was hoping you were
it's
going to
like
go there because
it's like how are you may never but look but I think it also shows that no matter how perfect your team can be it ain't perfect
no,
and I
no,
think
because
that's another great thing about baseball is you get a team like you're saying look at the Devil Rays or look at the Rays they they would not even meet the minimum. If there was a salary cap, there would be a salary floor as well. They wouldn't even meet the minimum of the salary floor, and yet they're leading the league. And it's just there's some teams that just know how to create these where they create these winners and spin them off and get more young players and spin them off. And there are some teams like the Dodgers that are like, you know what, we want to win right now, and this is the way we're going to go at it. We're gonna
yeah.
we're gonna go out shop and with the deferment and stuff. Now that's going to change. That's all going to change.
Well,
So
they
what the
grew
Dodgers
their
have done will
leadoff
probably
hitter. They grew their from the farm system. Their leadoff hitter and center fielder, and Andy Paez.
yes,
But
yes. I mean, and
but
that's what
now
you got to be as a baseball team. You can only afford one. The Dodgers have afforded more than most.
yes they have.
And I don't think that Cohen is good for baseball when it comes to the Mets because he has $12 billion and he can do whatever he wants, but he's also kind of good for baseball because he's just proven it doesn't work. So
Yeah, that's a
he
good
has
point.
he has $1 billion tied up in Soto and Frankie Lindor, and yet they suck.
Well, so there's but well let me because you went from great to suck real quick. Let me ask you then because the next question of the three, World Series favorite today. Go.
Well, it's got to be Dodgers. It's got to be a Dodgers in the National League and the American League. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about it. It's such a crapshoot in the American
I
League
know
right now.
American League looks terrible this year.
And it's like, can you believe that the Chicago White Sox are leading the
I know, I
division?
love it. Like I
Uh,
mentioned, I was watching like from this when the Dodgers played the Sox, and it was great
Oh,
seeing the South Side advertisements because I'm from the South Side. So seeing the advertisement, and when I grew up at night, I could see the glowing from Comiskey Park. That's right where I live, and I mean I left when I was 2 years old, so I didn't see it
yeah.
then. But when I went back to visit, that's you could still see it. So that
It
it
could
still
it could
hits
have been
me.
a glowing from the park. It could have been just that part of the town on fire.
It could have been people walking out of White Castle and farting, but it could have. Okay, let me give you a general question because this is where we're going to lean on your expertise. You ready?
Uh-oh, uh-oh,
Give me
leaning on
give
the
me
teeth.
one bold prediction for the second half of the year. Just one.
Uh, hmm. PCA will hit 45 home runs.
Jesus Christ, you go so Chicago so fast. By
And
the way,
it's not
people don't
even,
know who
no, not a
PCA
Chicago
is.
thing. I'm fascinated by the guy. The kid's, he's a peanut. He's a stick figure. And yet I watched him hit a, I watched him hit a home run last night when it looks like he just flicked it with one hand. And the pitcher dropped the F-bomb so many times right to the camera. He's like, how in the fuck did he hit that? How did he just again and again? He's like, I don't even under it wasn't mad. He wasn't mad that he hit a home run. He was mad and baffled that he could hit that ball that he threw for a home run because it was a
You're,
very effective sinker. And he
I
just
think you're going to
reached
have to
out and
explain to a lot of people who PCA is.
Pete Crow Armstrong, whose mom is the actress that played the mom in Little Big League. Uh, yeah, she's an actress, and he actually
God, that's
became he actually became
well.
and
What's
and
you know,
we stole
I
him
gotta
from the Mets. We stole him from the Mets for Javi Baez.
I gotta ask. What's with the crow? What's is he a Native
Crow
American
is
or?
his mom's maiden name, and Armstrong's his dad's name, his dad's last name. So he goes by a hyphenated to honor both parents.
Interesting.
His name's Pete
Okay.
Henry Crow Armstrong.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the obvious, Pete and repeat Armstrong.
No,
But
that would be too cool. That would be too cool. Yeah, it'd
okay,
be. I'd have
but
to. I'd have to go after the. There's only one famous Pete on. I mean, he's going to make people forget about the famous Pete we had, with Pete Lecoq.
and moving on. Well, because
Well, I mean,
I know where you're going. Let me get. I got two closing questions for you, and we've touched on both of them, so it'll be kind of easy for you. But
sure.
let me ask you. It's 1975. Shohei Ohtani starting his career. What happens? 1975 now, not 2025.
And you say Shohei Ohtani, and what you're saying, you said something about clothing.
No, he's starting his career.
Oh, he's starting his career. What would it happen?
Yeah,
Well, first of all, in 1975, likely he wouldn't be playing in the National League.
because of like racial or
We just didn't have that big of a relationship with Japan yet. We hadn't
well, see that,
developed,
but
you
again,
know,
that's part of it. Then now we've got a Japanese player in the U.S. What
I
happens?
mean, we have big relationships with Japan, with Korea, with all your Latin countries. We have big relationships with them now to
Is he
develop
is he
players.
is he allowed to be a star in 1975?
Um, I think
Does he
if I
does he
think
get the
it
big contract? Does he get embraced by the
No,
community
I,
like
I
he's
think he
being?
would get no, not 1975. He wouldn't get big. I think he may end up getting if he played in the American League and he got to do both, he would probably get a little bit more. But you're talking back in 1975
Yeah.
still the breach of $1 million was I don't know if it even happened yet.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
still
if
thinking like if he comes into the league and he performs well, he gets 125 grand.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think he would end up being a star. I'm not so sure how long his career would be because okay, so let's be honest right now. He's a great hitter and he's a great pitcher, but he is getting coddled as a pitcher, and he wouldn't have gotten that in 1975. He gets coddled as a pitcher with the Dodgers, and that's okay.
What do you mean coddled?
He gets extra rest. He pitches every 6 or 7 days, or maybe
Yeah,
even eight
yeah.
days. Well, so
Well,
what? He's their
they are
player.
6 day
It's who people
rotators.
are people are whining about. It's like, well, then why didn't you sign him? You can pitch him every other friggin' day if you want. You know, they're taking care of their investment. So that's why I think everything changes. I think that what you're talking about with pitching, no, you're not going to see people go past 7 innings anymore. The only way
Well,
you're going to see that happen is if they have a no hitter going, and if they've proven the fact they either have to be throwing a no hitter, they have to be throwing a Maddox. And for everybody that out there that doesn't know what the Maddox is, a Maddox is a shutout of throwing less than 100 pitches, something that Greg Maddox did many times in his
he
career.
threw a lot of strikes.
Yeah, so he'd throw a lot of shutouts throwing less than 100 pitches in a game.
Well, let me
And
ask you then, because you're walking right into my second question. now flip it around because now we've got a player, let's say Nolan Ryan
Hmm.
debuts last year in 2025. What happens?
I
No,
think if we had
just so
Nolan, I
you
think if
understand, just as the classic Nolan Ryan, like we talked about. It's not like, the farm system kids you're talking about today. This is Nolan Ryan, a big horse coming out of Texas. He's a big hater.
yeah,
You don't want to come across his fastball, but that's about all he got.
you know
Now
the
what
weird
happens?
thing, Mitch, is I think Nolan Ryan would play exactly the same way today as he did back then.
You have
I
to.
think with what he did is you either can hit him or you can't hit him. And it's just, I mean, he only had two pitches really. He had that 12 to 6 curveball and a 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's all he threw. And there are players that I mean they make up pitches now. They're making up pitches that like don't even exist. The sweeper.
I saw
it's
that
a
too.
drop down slider. That's what it has always been, a drop down slider. A knuckle curve. There's only one person I've ever seen throw a knuckle curve, Bert
Can
Hooton.
I? I knew it. I knew it. And now I've
And
asked you
it's
before this. I bet you made 25 Cub references on this episode today.
well, but Bert played a lot of years for the Dodgers.
Bert Hooten, did you say? Bert Hooten?
Bert Hooton, yeah.
Yeah, he was fun to watch because he had a fun name too. But he wasn't like a curly haired blonde guy, a little bit
Yeah.
overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
looked
yeah.
like a chubby, almost like a, he almost looked like a chubby Ray Rayner.
Boy,
Looking
we're not going to go there because nobody knows who
Nobody
Ray the
knows
hell
who Ray
Rayner
Rayner
was.
is.
You're going back now 56 years, so
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
come
Well,
back. I'm
uh,
sorry I made you time travel and you stayed there, but
whew, I'm a little lagged there. There's some
but yeah, but this has been, the fun baseball episode I hoped it would be. I mean, it's like been great talking with you about it because I know you are passionate about it. You and I have fun talking about these topics, but also, I mean, generally, I wrote down like 8 questions. I was like, what the hell? And I was wondering about quite a few. So we didn't get them all, but we got quite a few. So I appreciate you taking the time today.
It's my pleasure. I love our baseball shows. I think that first of all, you and I have Mitch and I have seen a couple baseball games together.
We played a few. We played a few.
We've been and we both love baseball. And I've never seen probably as many parks as you have. Although some of the best times in my life were with you and other couple other friends of ours sitting in the bleachers at Wrigley. And
Bleachers at Wrigley or the bleachers at Marcel's Little League Diamond.
or Old Comiskey. I mean, Old Comiskey, the
Oh,
what
wow.
a
Yeah.
dump, but it was still a shrine. It was a dump of a shrine. It was still a weird place. It's a weird place where you could like buy a hot dog and look to your left and see somebody taking a whiz in a
Yeah.
section like a couple sections away from you, and another guy taking a shower to your right.
And my last, I mean, not my last game there, but one of my most memorable games. Like I said, I was born on the South Side, and I would go visit my cousin sometimes in the summer. And I bet I was like 8 years old. But my uncle, uh, God, my uncle, God, what Ed? Wow. But he would take us to the game. Let's face it, Ed was an alcoholic. But we would go we'd ride in the back of the station wagon, the LTD, and we go to the game, and Uncle Ed was pounding beers. And, come on, Acosta. That's all I remember. Lou Acosta was a pitcher for the White Sox. I don't even know when, but come on, Acosta. My drunk ass. But it was great because we're sitting on some crappy wooden bleachers, eating malted milk out of those with those wooden spoons that
Isn't
give you the
that the
willies.
greatest? Isn't that the greatest? You can't even get that. That is not even replicated in the wild. It has to be, you can't even find those in, you have to go to a ball game. And that's one of the greatest things about a ball game. And they really had it right in the Field of Dreams when I talked about that. But there's something about a hot dog wrapped in paper that I would rather have
Yeah.
that than a beautiful steak. Just a hot dog wrapped in paper at a ball game. I'd rather have
Today.
that than the finest steak at a finest restaurant. And some about the smells, and not the smell of going to the can and the piss fall from everybody, but the smells of a baseball stadium and just the
Just the
sounds. And it's
vibe, the feeling, and like you mentioned, the neighborhood, like especially like Wrigley Field. My God, you deal with like you go up and people have kitchen chairs with brooms across them so you can't park, but and things like that. But you hop out the car and right away you're like, ooh, we're in it, we're in it, we're in the south side of Chi-Town, going to a game, get some salted peanuts outside because they're too
yeah,
expensive inside.
back then you knew you were in it.
Yeah, yeah, you knew it, and you knew not to go too far to that neighborhood
It was
because
like
that's
and
another.
Head north, friend.
Well, well, we're getting off track. So let's wrap this kid up. Great episode, Holly. I look forward to our baseball episodes. I look forward to the rest of the season now, just to see what happens and then post. I'm going to watch the All-Star game on Tuesday, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, although I don't want any of our players to play in it. I'm afraid we've lost so many. We've just lost so many
Don't
players.
don't play too hard. Yeah, don't wish that upon them because it'll turn into flag football like the NFL All-Star game. You don't want that. You don't want any of that.
Well, you know what? That's a weird thing. I never understood the NFL All-Star game anyway. I mean,
I
why
did.
would you go out there and try to beat the shit out of another guy for a game that means nothing? It would be like, I mean, and at the NBA, their All-Star game is like 150 to 140. Defense is a term that they only use to their idea of defense is put their shirt on their seat so nobody sets in it. But it's like but baseball is a true, their All-Star game is a true, I want to win this
It
game.
is. And
And
we add the home run derby is fantastic.
they're going to change it again this year too. But
Oh,
but I think it's just number of swings. You only get so many swings, and the only thing I worry about the baseball game is historically some people that have been in the home run derby have not home runned well after the derby for the rest of
that's
the
great.
year.
Let's watch it. Like you say, let's see how it plays out. But
So what's your prediction? What's your prediction?
I want to say Dodgers, but damn it, the Brewers are looking good.
I don't know how they do it, but the Brewers are very good.
But if I had
I
to if I had to predict, if the Dodgers get anyone back like Snell or Glasnow or Edwin Diaz, they're untouchable.
it's whoever has the best three pitchers. Whoever has the best three pitchers at the playoffs is probably going to end up winning it all because you're only going it's so weird that you play baseball a certain way all year long, and when the playoffs happen your rotation goes from five pitchers to three, and those other two become relievers and everything changes, and it's like second inning, guy gets a base hit, you have somebody up in the bullpen. I'm like, what? It's like,
Well, let's not forget the storyline of the Dodgers going for the three-peat. That hasn't been done in a while.
yeah, that's not since the Yankees, and you know what? Is it good for baseball? I think so. I mean,
It's a
I don't,
story.
yeah, and baseball is a story, and when you look back on it, people are going to remember if they do three-peat. Because they're going to be, oh,
Yeah,
who's the last one that did it? Oh, it's the Dodgers, and then it was the Yankees. But the game is just a hard game to play to win two in a row, let alone three in a row. It's just a great game. It's just a
it
great
is.
game.
It is, and it's a great way to wrap up. So appreciate you again, Ollie, and appreciate everybody listening. I mean, we touched on the fact that there's the one I was looking, there's the hand gesture I was looking for. But uh, but yeah, look if you
Abundante.
want to see the hand gestures Holly did at the end of the episode, check us out on YouTube. We'll be some shorts out there too. But this is coming out just before the All-Star game, so hope everybody gets as fired up about it as we are. Holly, we'll see you next time, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Mitch.